Alright guys, so this video I'm going to be making a drone, just like a sci-fi drone. I'm not going to go too crazy with the detail here, I'm just going to make it fairly simple. I'm not going to make it like Nintendo 64 low poly, but it's going to be lower poly count than your usual ArtStation model, you know? So, because this is going to be a game asset, so I'm not trying to make this a million polygons and it's just a small little area because it's a drone, and then my game's running at 2 frames a second. So this is just gonna be a simple game asset. It's gonna be fairly detailed, but not too crazy. But anyway, that's enough yapping. Let's go ahead and get this going. So I'm gonna start off with a fairly longer frame here, and probably a little more narrow. So something, I guess that's like a good shape, something like that. Um, yeah, maybe not so long. Maybe something like that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, it's already activated. I'm going to activate Box Cutter because that's what I'll be using, which is an add-on, which is what I highly recommend if you're into hard surface modeling or any type of modeling really. So what we're going to do first things first is we're going to go to the side view, and I really want it to be kind of very angular. I kind of want it to be like a bulky, angular, just mean looking drone. So what I could do is I can come about right here, and I want to cut it all the way through. So I'm gonna do something like that. And what I want to do is I'm gonna bring it all the way, maybe not all the way. I might stop it about right there. Actually, what would it look like if I did go all the way through? Yeah, I think we're gonna stop it about right here. Okay. And I'm gonna hit Shift 1 to hide the cutter. And I'm actually gonna close this cutter collection right there. I'm actually gonna put the drone inside of there. There we go. Alright, so now we can go to front view, and what I want to do is I kind of want to cut it right here, give it that little angular kind of look, and I'm going to mirror it to that side. And what I want to do now is, I actually think I want to cut this off all the way, so we're going to come about right there and do something like that. Okay, so the front view here, we're going to do something like this. Whoa, wrong angle for sure. Something like that, maybe. Why is that happening? For some reason the faces are going the other way, facing the other way. Alright, I do kind of like how that looks, but I'm actually going to delete that. I'm going to remove that Boolean modifier. What I'm going to do instead is I'm going to cut about right here. I'm not too worried about matching the angle up here because it's like a different side, but if I am making any cuts up here, I do try to match that those angles. But as of right now, I think that's looking okay. It's looking a little very simple. But this is the blockout phase, so we're not going to worry too much about how it looks. But we're going to cut about right there. And then we can probably do something like this where we come in right here. And then something like that. That's a little too deep. Let's go from the other side, from the front view. And do something like that. Okay. Now on the front view, we definitely need to do something. But before we do that, let's go to the top view. And let's create a cut that goes all the way through. All the way through. Okay, now let's bring it out a little bit. Probably rotate it and then bring it in. And you see how it's not cutting right here? That's because we've got to scale it up a little bit. Alright, we can hide that. And then what I want to do is go back to right view mode, sorry. Let's get out of that cutter. And what I want to do is I want to kind of cut right here. That does not look good. Let's go back in the front mode. I think the front needs some love. So what we could do is we can actually cut right here. I think that'll look better. And then what we can do here is I think I want to cut this again. Okay. And what we can do on the front as well is we can probably come in here at this angle and just go straight down and do something like that. Okay. Now, the shading's looking a little weird, but we're going to fix that here in a minute. And we can actually probably do the same thing here. And actually just go all the way through. Okay. Now on the right, what I want to do is I want to come straight up right here. And I think I'll just want to go a little bit steep right there. And now we have something like that. Once again, I'm not sure why that's happening. Let's go ahead and apply these modifiers. Let's go ahead and fix all that. Let's go ahead and resharpen. I hit 3 on the number pad to clear up any extra geometry. And you see what's happening is it actually fixed those faces. It looked like there was maybe some overlapping edges or vertices or just extra geometry that it didn't need. Now, Mesh Machine Sharp isn't perfect. You see how these edges aren't sharp and it's creating these weird shading issues. If we just go ahead and click that, hit Q, then mark it sharp, you can see that it fixes those faces and just makes it look a lot better because it fixes those shading issues because it was just looking like shit. Same thing up here. Alright. Now it's looking like something. It's a very interesting shape, I'll give it that, but it's definitely missing that drone feel. And what I should have done on the bottom is probably slice it and create an extra piece right here. But that's looking okay. I think that's okay. We can work with what we have. I wonder if I do this, what would that look like? No. Not very good at all. What if I go the other way? I think I'm actually going to go the other way with it. Because I think it's just too thick right here. So I think I'm actually going to grab that face on the Y and bring it back. Give it a little more breathing room on the bottom here. Now, what I want to do on the top, I'm not liking how sharp this edge is here. So what I can do is I can come here and actually just slice that corner off. Make it look like that. Again, there's some extra geometry there. And let's go to the back view. And we're going to make it, we're going to start this cut over here. And I actually think we're going to go all the way through with this again. But we're actually going to scale this on the Y, and we're going to bring this back on the Y. And what I want to do here is instead of going all the way through, I can actually just, well, let me bring this over here a little bit. And then what I'll do instead is I'll actually apply those booleans. And I'm actually going to bring this vertex here, and I'm actually going to join it to there. And you see what's happening. It's giving that kind of just angular look to it. It's looking very, very sleek. And to fix this right back here, if you have Mesh Machine, you hit 3 on the number pad. It's going to recalculate those faces as well as remove any extra geometry. And you see how the mirror modifier is kind of looking weird right here. I can go in edit mode and enable it. But what I like to do is I like to hit Alt X for mesh, bring up the Mesh Machine mirror in edit mode, and I just go over and slide my cursor to the right, and you can see it mirrors that as well, so it looks a little better. It's easier to work with, so you know kind of know what you're doing. So as of right now, it's looking pretty good. Of course, the shading issues are going to keep coming back, or these are going to keep unsharpening themselves when you apply that mirror, but it's not a big deal. You can always just resharpen them. And this right here can look a little different. We can go to object mode, and then I can do something. I'm actually going to go break my own rule, and I'm actually going to go a little further here. I'm actually going to see what that looks like, see how that looks. I'm actually going to go something like that. Looks like a shoebox. Looks like a shoe. You know what I mean? So, man, do I like that? No, I don't like that. Let me delete that. Let me try again. Let me try something else, in matter of fact. Let's do... Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. Let's bring this out. Sorry, I'm kind of going fast. I'm just trying to play with shapes a little bit. Okay, I think I like that. I actually think I like that. And then we can go ahead and select that. Now, I'm going to do something a little interesting on the top here. I'm going to actually, I'm going to slice this top, so I'll show you what I mean. Oof, hold on. I'm not liking that. Let me just leave that alone for a second. I'm actually going to come here. I'm going to go to Ingon. I'm actually going to drag, I'm going to start all the way back here. I'm going to do something like that. I'm going to create like a diamond head. Almost like a... like a viper or something. Oh, that is not matching that angle at all. Oh, wrong button. Let me try it again. Alright, we're going to match that angle here. And again, I'm not matching that angle. Oh, that's not snapping, so I'm actually going to cancel that again. Okay, let me pay attention this time. Alright, there we go. There's the angle. And now we're going to come here. Alright, we're going to match that angle. And since it's mirrored, it doesn't have to be perfect on the other side. I can just do something like this, and I can just like bring it over here. And then hit X, and then hit Shift X, and you see what's happening. So, that's looking... This is not matching the angle, or is it? It is not matching that angle at all. And then when you hit Control Z, you gotta be careful, because I think what it's gonna do is sometimes it'll create another object, like it'll duplicate the object because you canceled a boolean. So you gotta be careful, because sometimes you'll see Z fighting, which Z fighting is something like this. You'll see like, well, I guess it's not doing it now, but you'll see like something like that. You'll see some very bad clipping going on. See if I can bring it back. I don't know if it's doing it. It's not. But you'll see some Z fighting. If you don't know what that is, you'll see it's like a bunch of very bad clipping issues. But it looks like in my case it didn't duplicate the object, so I think we're good to go. Alright. And I still have that extra face that I created that I didn't mean to create. Let me hit 3. Let me grab this. There we go. Let's go ahead and... Oh, nope. Delete the face. There we go. Alright. So we're going to do that again. Let's go to top view. Man, I'm kind of second guessing what I was about to do. I might actually just keep it within this limit here. I will do that actually. So let's bring this ingon back. Let's do this something like that, and let's match this. It's like it doesn't want to match that edge there, which I don't like. I'm not very appreciative of that. Instead, what I'll do is I'll come from this angle. It's not working either. I can hold control and move it freely, but you know, it's not going to be perfect. And I guess you can call me a pixel pincher. See, that's matching. So why isn't it matching when I go this way? Very strange. Ah, I see. So up here, you'll see a little drop down. You see it says it's we're matching the object, but if we come here, we can actually change it to view mode. And that way, it'll probably be a little more, it'll be nicer to me. It'll play nice. And I lied, it's not playing nice. It's being very disobedient right now. And that's just how it is sometimes. Sometimes you just gotta soldier through. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna eyeball it. Doesn't have to be perfect, but I'd rather it be perfect, but we're just gonna eyeball it here. Alright, that looks like it. Whoa. Come on now. So we're gonna do something like that, and then this one doesn't have a problem with matching. So we're gonna come there, and then we're gonna come here, and then we're gonna do something like that. We're gonna hit X. And what I want to do is I kind of want to bring it. I actually like that. I do not like how this is happening right here. So what we're doing is we're bringing this up. And I actually do want it to go all the way through there. So I'm going to bring it down. Not too far down because I don't want it to mess with these, this right here. So what I'll do is I'll bring it up just a hair. Okay. And from there, let's see what happens if I go all the way up with it. Okay. Oof, man, I think I like it not going all the way through. Okay, I think I'm gonna stop it right there. Let's see what it's looking like. Yeah, I think I'm liking that. All right, we're gonna hit Shift 1 to hide that. We're gonna go ahead and apply that. Apply that face. Apply that object. Apply that object. And we're going to go into this object, and you can see these edges are not sharp, so it's gonna create that shading issue. Same with these. So we're gonna mark that sharp as well. The bottom needs some love, but we're gonna get to that eventually. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come here, and we're gonna remark this sharp. And I'm seeing some strange. Am I tripping, or am I seeing some shading issues going on here? I'm definitely seeing shading issues going on here. All right, so this edge needs to be marked sharp. There you go. So we're gonna bring that back, Whoa. All right. So Alt H to hide that, unhide that object. And what I want to do is, so let's go ahead and do that right there. Well, I kind of want to chamfer this, and I want it to go not too far back, but I do want it to go a little bit further back. So something about right there. Okay. Now I don't want it to be at an angle. I want it to be completely, perfectly facing straight. So what I can do is I can hit S and hit the Y and then hit 0. And what it's going to do is going to make it flat, but you see it's not lining up with that edge anymore, so I can actually undo that. And what I can do instead is I can grab this edge and let's see if I isolate it. Go to right view, and what I can do is I can kind of just edge slide it. I can kind of just eyeball it here, and that's looking okay. But if I hit G twice again to edge slide and I hit C, I can actually bring it back a little bit, and that actually looks like it's perfectly flat. So I'm actually going to leave it like that. There you go. Now what I want to do is I want to take this edge, this edge and this edge, and I'm actually going to chamfer this as well. I'm going to do something like that, create like a little diamond shape, almost like a viper head. It's going to look pretty cool. And then there you go. And then now this back side over here, I know there's like a shading issue going there, but I'll fix that in a second. What I'll do is right here is I'll actually go to box mode. I'm going to keep it on view. I'm going to go to box mode here. I'm actually going to do something like this. Let's see. Something like that, which looks pretty cool. And then what I can do is probably push it in a little bit. Let's see what an array looks like here. Looks like dog shit, so I'm actually going to keep that there. I'm actually going to bring this back. Let's see if I bring it forward a little bit. Yeah, forward looks a little better. And I can apply that. And that's looking pretty good. I like how that looks so far. Looking pretty cool. Looking like something. It's definitely an interesting shape. Let's see something. Ooh, coming out doesn't look too bad either. But I'm actually going to leave it in. And what I'll do is I'll create like a shell around this. And what I mean by that is we can come here. We can select everything right here on the front face. Let's go ahead and alt text that as well. This edge does not need to be here. Actually, it does because it's a cut. Alright, so we're going to actually mark that sharp. And it's actually looking okay. I don't like how close this is to the edge, so what I can do is I might actually chamfer this and have it touch that edge. It's going to remove that cut that we made. So what I'll do instead, let's see. Oof, no, that looks terrible. What I'll do instead, I'll go to right view. Let's isolate this. I'll go to occlude mode. Oh, I'm going to select all these faces. Edge sliding is not going to work. Okay, let's bring that back. I think I'm just going to cut it. Alright, let's go to object mode. Let's go to, oh, not decals. Let's go to box. I'm actually going to cut this just ever so slightly. Alright, I'm going to actually bring this forward just a little bit. Right there. There you go. That's way better. Just to have that separation looks a lot nicer. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to take these front faces here. Let's get out of occlude mode. And I'm actually going to take all of these. Let's see. No, just the front. Just the front. Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll hit Q. And you'll see curve extract, which is if I don't hit shift, I just hit curve extract, you see what it's doing? It creates like these weird like tubular kind of things, which actually doesn't look terrible, but it's not what I'm going for. So what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna select these faces again, hit Q, and I'm gonna hold shift, curve extract. It's actually gonna create like a plate. And what I want is I want this to kind of be like a plate of armor on the front. And we actually do some really cool stuff with this. So I'm going to put the solidify on top and then the mirror because I'm going to apply this solidification. And it's looking a little too thick, so what I can do is I can actually bring this back a little bit. Something about or something about right there. And I can go ahead and apply that because when I start cutting, I don't need it to be giving me issues. All right, so now we can give it just some cool design here. I'm actually going to go into Ingon. I'm actually going to see what this looks like when I slice it right here. Okay, that's actually looking pretty cool. I might actually leave that. And sometimes you just got to play around with shapes because you're not going to know what you like until you actually give it a shot. I kind of want to break that up as well. And let's see. And you're gonna get issues, you know, you're gonna get problems. But if you know how to solve them, they're not really problems. You know? So down here as well, I'm actually leave that lip. Okay. And like I said, I don't want to add too much geometry here. I have a bad habit of adding way too much geometry than I should. And I kind of want, let's see what happens if I do something like this. Okay, that actually looks pretty sick. I might actually leave that. Let's see what it looks like so far when I apply it and all those edges get sharpened. Okay, where am I? There we go. Now this edge is looking like shit because it's not sharpened. So we can grab that, mark it, and then what I want to do with this edge is chamfer it. And I can actually bring it all, actually I don't want to bring it all the way back. I'm going to stop it about right there, see what that looks like. That looks so, okay. I think I'm actually going to chamfer that all the way. Let me go ahead and mark this sharp as well. Alright. It's actually looking pretty sick. It's not matching. This right here, it just doesn't look right. Something's not right here. So let's go ahead and go to Ingon. Let's see if I can match that angle. I'm thinking that's looking a little better, looking a little more sleek. Go ahead and apply that. And what I want to do is go into box mode. And I'm actually going to go into object mode this time. I'm going to make sure nearest edge is selected. That way when I start cutting here, you see how it lines up with that face, that edge, sorry. And then I can come here and do that. And what I can do is I can actually array this. So I go to Q, array, and then I can actually do something like this. Do I like that? Do I like this? I think I know what it's missing. Let's go ahead and apply that. And what I want to do is go into vertex mode. Actually, bring those cutters back. Bring those cutters back. I'm gonna select this object. I'm gonna select the face. I'm gonna hit Y twice. That way it goes into its local transform. I'm actually gonna do something like this. Okay, I think that looks a little better than just those hard edges. And then I can select this and then apply that boolean. And those edges actually sharpened. I didn't think they were going to, so that's good. Now that's looking pretty cool. Now, do I want to mimic this on the bottom? Whoops. Maybe not. Maybe not. I shall not. But what I will do now is I will actually select these faces here because I might have to come back to this. And I'm actually going to create like a shell that's going to extend past the object. And it's going to look pretty cool. I'll show you what I mean. Select this as well. Yeah, and then we're going to hit Q, curve extract, and we're going to bring this out. And you'll see where I'm going with it here in a second. And what I want to do is I kind of want to bring it off of the object. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Alt X. I'm going to mirror this side. That way I can actually, sorry, I'm going to select this, then select this object, and then mirror it, okay? That way when I grab it, it'll actually separate on the other side as well instead of following it. Alright, so that's something like that. I'm going to do something kind of silly, something I usually don't do. I'm going to scale it on the Z, and yeah, I knew it was going to look kind of weird. That doesn't look terrible, but it's not really where I'm going for. So what I'll do instead is I'll go to the front view here. I'll go to occlude mode, and then I'm going to get out of box cutter, and I'm going to actually select these top faces here. And then what's going on back here? Blender just crashed. Okay, whew. Don't scare me like that. Holy shit. Alright. I'm gonna just do something like that. I'm gonna deselect those faces. I'm actually gonna select... Oh, wait, what's going on here? Oh, it's solidified. It's solidified. Okay, so I'm actually going to... Oh, we have a duplicate mirror. Oh, we have multiple mirrors. Hold on. Okay. I'm gonna remove that one. Remove that one. Let's see what's going on here. That usually does not happen. Okay, that's the one I need. Okay, so I'm actually gonna just make that the first one. Okay, so I'm gonna apply this solidify because I think I'm happy with the thickness. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go back into face mode, and I'm gonna select these faces here because I want these to go up without messing up the shape of these of this right here. So let's see if I do that. Yeah, you see everything's kind of staying, it's keeping its form, okay? So now when I bring this up, I'm not actually scaling it up. I'm more of kind of like stretching it in a way. I'm actually going to bring it right about there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to select these faces on the bottom. And I'm in occlude mode right now. That way I can see what the hell I'm grabbing. All right. And Blender likes to throw little temper tantrums and not cooperate sometimes. But sometimes you just got to force it to cooperate. And I'm actually going to select these faces as well. That way it doesn't deform, because I don't want it to. I want it to maintain the shape of the overall drone. So I'm actually going to select the faces that I just selected. I'm just going to bring it down, because I'm going to break my own rules here a little bit, and it's going to extend past the drone, and then we can start having fun with this shit. You know what I mean? Because now we can take this shell and actually start cutting it up and making it look like it's its own kind of style in a way. So what we can do is we can actually probably cut this off, okay? Cut that off. And then we can probably cut the back up a little bit so we can, something like this. Let's cut it all off. Yeah, we can start cutting up, you know what I mean? And then we can come over here and cut that off. And then something on the bottom here is just bugging me. It's bugging me. Oh, wait a second. Oof, do I want this to be going back a little bit? Oh yeah, I think I want it to go back a little bit as well. Okay, I have an even better idea. Okay, my brain is working faster than my hands can keep up, so it's like, I'll come up with an idea, and then in that same second, it's already gone. And it's like, holy shit, what was I just thinking about? So we're gonna go here. Let's apply those cuts that we did so far, because I actually like how it looked. So I'm actually gonna go into right view. I'm gonna stick with occlude mode. I'm actually gonna select all these outer faces here, and I'm gonna bring it all the way out. Actually, we're gonna grab that as well. We're gonna bring this out. Okay, it's gonna look really silly. It's gonna look really silly right now, but it's okay because we're about to tear this shit up. All right, so we're gonna come here. We're going to object mode. I'm actually gonna leave this here. I'm actually gonna go just a little bit above it. I'm gonna keep that same angle. I'm gonna go all the way through and cut it. Okay, now you can kind of see where I'm going with it. I want that sleek, kind of pissed off look to it. You know what I mean? And I really like how this shell right in this area came out, because it's kind of it's shaping to the back of this, which we still need to work on, but it's looking okay. And on the bottom here, instead of cutting this off, I'm actually going to go on the back side here. I'm going to break my own rule a little bit. I'm actually going to stop the cut right here. And do I want it to match that angle? I think I do want it to match that angle. I'm going to hit shift and space, that way I can mess with the cutter without it actually applying. I'm actually going to bring this back a little bit, okay? And we're getting some shading issues, but that's easily fixable. And let's see, I think I know what I want to do with this side right here. I'm going to go right under this angle, this edge here. I'm going to go right under it. I'm going to come down, and then I'm going to come right back out at the same angle, okay? I'm going to do something like that. And you can see what's happening. Let's go ahead and apply this and see if we have any shading issues we got to fix. Okay. No extra geometry. I'm liking how that looks. You know, I'm not a big fan of usually when the... Oof, do I like that? I'm not sure if I like that. This right here. Okay. Hold on. How can we fix this? No. Let's bring that cutter back. Let's bring that cutter back. Where's it at? This one. Let's bring that back. And I know I just undid that one, but that's okay, because I want to mess with this a little bit. Let's bring it down. Okay. I think we had to come down with it. Maybe a little further back. Okay, I think I like that better. Yeah, I think I'm liking that better. I wanted to maintain that shape right here. Okay, and we have some shading issues, but we're gonna deal with that after we're done messing around here. All right, so same thing here. We're gonna come about right here. Nope. We're gonna come about right here. And I'm gonna go straight down. I'm actually gonna go all the way down. Let's see what happens. I actually really like that. Once again, I do not like how this edge right here is getting cut. So I'm gonna hit Q. I'm gonna go to ever scroll. I'm gonna bring that cutter back. I'm gonna bring it back a little bit. About right there. That's looking way better. Now, I think the drone is just getting covered up just a little bit too much. I don't want it to be too covered up, but it is going to act like a piece of armor, so maybe I do want it to be covered up, but I kind of want it to be a little more reveal. I kind of want it to reveal more of this drone. So what I can actually do is I can go to Ingon. I can drag, start the cut in the middle here, and I'm actually going to recreate that same cut. And I don't think it's matching with that angle. It's not. So, oh, I knew it. I knew it was going to crash. I knew it was going to crash. All right. Restart, and then there it goes. Blender is a piece of shit sometimes. I'm not even going to lie to you. And okay. We didn't lose that much progress. We didn't lose that much progress. I just have to do this cut again. So let's go back into right mode. And let's do something like that. And I think I'm going to go straight down again, just like how I had it. Okay? And then we're going to go ahead and apply that. And it's looking okay. All right. We can still do some more, but I'm going to leave that alone for now. And like I said before, once again, if Blender wills it, if Blender will will it to happen, I will go right here, start that cut, and then I'm going to go over here. And it's really hard to see if it's matching that angle, which I think this is matching the angle. So I'm going to cut that, and it isn't. Once again, it's not. You see that? It's not matching that angle at all. So sometimes you just have to eyeball this shit, and it's really annoying. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, do not Control Z while the cut is still active, because Blender is just not happy when it does that. So once again, okay? Let me go to, okay, let's get to start this here. I'm going to start the cut here, okay? Okay, maybe I do need to go a little further with the cut. Like, maybe right here. Maybe that's matching the angle. I just can't see it. It is matching the angle. Okay. So we're going to do that. We're going to slice it. Let's see if it's matching. It's still not matching. Okay. So once again, for some reason, it does not want to match that angle. But if I do this, it matches. Okay. So we're just going to start here then. And we're going to do something like this. Hit X and then Shift. Sorry. Actually, we're going to start with this cut. No, we're going to come in and then start that cut here. You see how it does that shit? I don't understand. It's really frustrating. Really like it doesn't match, but if I just start this cut here, it matches. So we're just going to have to finesse this a little bit. So we're going to come here, something like that, and then we're just going to come straight. And it looks like it's straight. So we're going to hit X, and then now we can bring it down where we originally wanted it, okay? Something like that. Okay. Now what we can do is hit Shift 1 to hide it, and these are now two separate objects. So we can apply this object and apply this object. Okay, let's see if there's any extra geometry, because Blender likes to do that shit too. Okay, so that's actually looking pretty cool. What we can do now is we can actually create like a little window kind of deal, if that makes any sense. So what I'll do is I'll create a box. And I'm gonna make sure it's aligned with that edge. And let's see what this looks like. Let's see what that looks like for now. That doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. And what I'll do... Sorry, someone's texting me, so I keep getting distracted here. I'll actually cut this tail off right here, not with the box because it's gonna look like dog shit. So what I'll do is I'll just cut it right here. Give that a little bit of breathing room there. And then what I'll actually do is I'm actually gonna go straight here and then make that angle cut. And once again, I think it's not lining up. Actually, I think it is. And I think it's, yeah, it is. So I'm gonna cut that right there. And you see what's happening, it's creating like a little streak. So what I'll do is I'll bring that cutter back, and then we actually do some really cool stuff. So if we go into box mode and leave this cutter active, we can actually cut the cutter, and then we can actually bring some of that geometry back, and then we can array this. I'm actually gonna do 3, and then I'm gonna do something like this. And I think if I hit Control X, I can do something. Yeah, that's a little weird. Maybe 2 will be the answer here. Maybe 2 is all we need. I'm thinking. Hmm. I think I may have a better idea. Oh my god, Blender. Get your fucking shit together. Okay, well don't use Blender 4.5.3 because it's not gonna have a good time. It's not gonna treat you right at all. And now will I be able to undo those cutters? I can't because Blender fucking crashed. And now I just have this fucking shit here. Okay. So one way to get out of that is to actually join these vertices here. Just join them. Okay. And then what we can do is completely dissolve these edges. Okay. Now we have something like that. It's back to the before we cut the cutter. Actually, I don't even need to do that. I can just do this right here. I can just delete all these edges. I didn't have to join any vertices. Okay. So now with that being said, we can go back into write mode, go into object mode, and I think I might actually bring this up off of the object. Okay. No. I think I'll actually cut this off. Okay. And I'm gonna start this cut right here. No, not you. Here. Hide that one. Okay. Something like that. And what I actually want to do is I want to bring this further out. I want to bring this further out. And I'll show you why here in a second. Something like that, okay? And what I want to do is not do that actually because it's messing up that shape. So what I can do instead is, why isn't it include? There we go. Maybe just these two. Negative. Alright. And this edge has to go, most definitely. Most definitely has to go. And these are now two separate objects, so I don't have to worry about cutting that off. So that's looking pretty cool. That's looking better. I think it just needed to come past it a little bit. Do I like that? Yep, I sure do. I sure do. Alright, let's see here. And then now what we can do is I can actually go to box mode and I can just start this all the way through and then do something like that. Nope. We're going to do something like this, kind of mimic that cut that I did earlier. Let's see if I do array. Okay. Now let's see if I grab this face, scale it twice on the y-axis, and you can see what's happening. Alright. Something like that. And that's looking not terrible. Not terrible. This needs to go. This needs to go. Let's bring that back. Slowly. Let's bring back the cutter before Blender absolutely loses its mind. So we're going to come here. We're gonna hit Y twice on the keyboard. That way we can drag it on the local axis instead of the world axis. I think that's better. I think that's way better than having that lip there. And if you go to front mode, it's looking like something. You know what I mean? It's looking like something, a drone. For some reason, something is just messing me up down here. Something is just really throwing me off. I don't hate it. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I don't love it either. I'm going to do something goofy as shit. I'm going to do something really goofy here. No. No. Like I said, there's a lot I want to do with this, but I can't add too much geometry. I'm already at 272 faces. So I really don't want to do too much detail, but I do want to make it, I do want to make the texture, let the textures do most of the heavy lifting. So the back mode here, we're going to go to top view. I'm actually going to go to the main object. I do not like how this is nothing. So we're going to go into Ngon. I'm going to match that angle right there. I'm going to go in a little deeper. And then I'm going to go straight. And then once again, it's mirrored, so I don't have to worry about it not lining up. And there you go. I think we can do some. I think we can work with that. I can definitely work with that. Let's bring it back. Maybe I can shift it around a little bit. Oof. Do I want to go further in? I might have a little bit of an idea here. Let's try that again, but we're gonna change it up a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean. We're gonna go in, straight in. Then we're gonna match that angle. Okay? Which I think is right there. No. Okay, let's bring that back in. Match that angle. We're gonna slice it. Okay? We're gonna slice it. And let's go in a little bit further. Let's go ahead and apply that. Let's go ahead and apply that. Let's take these two. Let's hide that shell. We're gonna hide that shell real quick. Alright. And then that's looking okay. Do I like the bottom, how it got cut like that? Whew, no. Hold on. Let me try something here. What I want to do for sure is I want to chamfer this. Not all the way, but just something about right there. Okay. And then we can actually go here. And let's bring it all the way down to here. Let's see what happens. Okay. No. Hmm. I'm so quiet. I'm just trying to see if I like this. I want to like it. That's the problem. I want to like it, but it's just something about it that's not making me like it. Let's bring back the shell. We can make this work. Okay, I think I can work with something like that. Let's bring that back in. We can make it a little bit more subtle. Okay. And then now, is my mic still working? Please tell me. Okay. I'm so paranoid with that shit now. Okay, so let's come here. Oof, I think I might have an idea here. Hold on. Hold on, hold on. Let's go to box. Oh, wrong side because of the mirror. Array that. Once again, I think I'm actually going to cut that like that. Okay. And then what we can do, you know, if I was adding a bevel, I would not chamfer this. Like, for example, see if I wanted to add a bevel. You see how it does the separation already for you? You see what I'm saying? But like, since I'm not beveling, I gotta, you know, come up with something a little different. So what I'll do is I'll come here. And what I'll actually do is I will go into face mode, go into occlude mode. Let's get out of cutter mode before I lose my mind, and then we're gonna come here. And then what am I selecting in the front? Okay, that's fine. Now we can hit, oh, I have to select this as well, these edges that curve, because it'll mess up the shape. So we're gonna select those and then move it on inside on the X. Just a hair so that separation can occur. Okay. Now you can see what's kind of happening. Um, Now there's some separation there all the way around, which looks really good. I think it looks way better. Something right here just doesn't sit right with me. Let's select these. I think these cuts are a little too deep. I probably should have moved them out a little bit. So we're gonna bring them back in a little bit. Okay. And there you go. I think that's a little more subtle. Looks a little better. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. We can honestly do a little bit more back here, but let's move on. Let's get back into the shell. I think the shell can use a little bit more love here. But before we do that, I think I'm already at 50 minutes. I'm already at about an hour here, so I think I might have to cut this one a little short because I actually do want to do a little bit more with this since it's going to be a pretty important game asset. So I am going to do one a little bit. So I might actually make this like a two-part video where I do the texturing and all that stuff. And I'm pretty sure I did a cut here that I didn't intend to remove because Blender wanted to crash. And you see how the angle is different here than this angle here. So I might actually bring this cut further up so I can match with this one. Okay. Yep. And then what I'll do is I'll come straight down. And then do I want to go straight down all the way? I'm actually going to make sure this face goes all the way out. Okay. Oof, there's something there. There's something there. You know what I mean? There's something there. It's not quite there, but there is something there that can be done. We're going to bring that back. We're going to delete that cut. I think I know what I want to do with this. I think I know what I want to do with this. Okay. Let's go to object mode. Let's bring that cut back. I'm going to match this angle instead. I'm going to bring it down. Okay, that's one. Alright, that's one. Now what we can do is we can go probably match this angle here. I'm actually going to start the cut right here, if believe it or not. So that way I can get the perfect angle. And then what I want to do is I want to come down out like that. I'm going to hit shift, but then I'm going to bring it down here. That way I know that angle is matching perfectly to this one. This angle is matching this one. What you think, huh? I kind of like it. I don't like how this doesn't chamfer with this, so I can probably fix that as well. But I actually really like that. It's looking like something. It's looking like something for sure. Alright, so I think I'm actually going to call it here. I think we've made it pretty far. Made it pretty far. So I think when I start this video, I think I'm going to start giving it some more attention on the bottom here and the top. But the shell's looking nice. We could do a lot more with it. But like I said, you know, I can't give too much detail because of the fact that it's going to be a game asset. So I'm already kind of pushing it, you know, to be honest, and you know, by my standard at least. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna try to make another video where I add just a little bit more on top, some more on the bottom, maybe give the front a little bit more of a meaner look. You know, maybe some grills here, some like ventilation, or you know, like some sort of propulsion kind of thing. That way it looks like it, you know, there's a reason why it's floating. But other than that, I think that's pretty good so far. If you made it this far, cool deal. I'm gonna try to make another one where I actually finish the damn thing. And then I'll try to also do the texturing in that same video inside of Quixel, as long as my mic and Blender cooperates. But other than that, see you later.